conservative new media viewers, what's going on? It's me, John D. Villar. Okay, so there's a story here, and it's unbelievable, okay, if it's true. First of all, we're not alleging any facts, not casting any aspersions, all for entertainment purposes only, and this is what I believe that I've read, and that's it. So here's the deal. Supposedly there's a story out there, and I'm going to put links below in the description, that if I read this right, and maybe I got it wrong, but if I read this right, that supposedly New York, the story goes allegedly that New York Jets quarterback Mark Sanchez, the superstar, hooked up with a 17-year-old upper crust, super rich, or comes from a super rich family. I wouldn't call her a woman, she's a young girl, frankly. This is insane. What is going on? Are you kidding? I mean, first of all, allegedly, they met at some nightclub. Now, my question is, A, why is a 17-year-old out of the nightclub, number one? And number two, how did she get in? Okay, so let's just put that aside for a second. Like, allegedly, if I read this right again, in the story, Mark Sanchez, at some point, this, according to the story, this may be, and all this might be completely false, but according to the story, if I read it right, if I believe that if you know, for what I believe, if I read it right, Mark Sanchez knew she was 17, and you know, in the story, at least the one I saw, her face was blurred out. One thing, it was like, dude, from what I could see, she didn't even look like, so she didn't even look that hot. So let me. This is what I want to understand. You're a quarterback in the NFL. You're a superstar. From what I can tell, you're a really good-looking guy, and from you know me, that four-time national champion, okay, national world class in 3 strength and combat sports. I've been around, trained all kinds of professional athletes. You don't know, from my personal experience, you don't even have to be good-looking to get all kinds of hot women if you're a pro athlete, let alone the quarterback for the New York Jets. What in the world are you doing with a 17-year-old? If supposedly, allegedly, if I'm remembering this right, she told you she was 17. Are you insane, Mark Sanchez? If this is true, and I don't know that it's true, it could all be false and it could all be wrong, but this is allegedly according to the story, if I read it right. So my question is this: what are you doing, Mark Sanchez? Number one. Number two, to the parents of this young girl, if this is true, what are you doing? Now, apparently, and I don't know, but apparently, according to the story, if I read it right, that this isn't. This is actually legal. This isn't statutory rape. If this story is correct, that they hooked up, if they did in fact hook up, that this that this is legal both in New Jersey and in New York. So what do you think of that? Now, New York Jets, there have been some interesting alleged stories about the New York Jets this whole year. First we had the footy allegations, and now we have this. Like, what's going on? And they were a good team. Maybe is this possible that these stories were a distraction to them winning in Pittsburgh? I don't know. But the thing is, like, all I will say is this: if this is a true story, dude, Mark Sanchez, you gotta check yourself, bro. You gotta get a grip. You gotta get it together. The thing of it is, in my personal opinion, you know, it comes down to the parents of the girl, if this is true, and much more importantly, Mark Sanchez. Mark, bro, you're a superstar. You're gonna have groupies all around the corner at every freaking city, dude. I'm sure this is not news to you. Get it together if this is true. Here's the deal. Go do a Tom Brady and go get yourself like a Giselle Bundchen or something like that. There's all kinds, I am more than sure, there's all kinds of, you know, real, actual old enough women, see, you know, that are your age or somewhere around that I'm sure would look gorgeous and or maybe actually have some, I don't know, how about degrees, you know, from colleges and universities and maybe graduate degrees as opposed to being in high school that you can hang out with. So look, dude, you can do what you want. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just trying to tell you, like, you know, the Tom Brady model, that's a really good model, dude. That's a really good model. In my personal opinion, not alleging any facts, casting any aspersions. Now, I'm still shocked. I just need to know from you, the YouTubers out there, particularly those in the New York City area and the Jets fans, what do you make of the story? Do you believe it? Do you not believe it? If it's true, what do you do then? And what would you say to Mark Sanchez and the Jets? And what would you say to this young girl? Apparently, if you believe the story, allegedly, see what she was saying on Facebook. And I want to hear from the parents out there. I just need some context to this whole situation. Look, you know, I think that, like, as I said, I mean, for me, I'm, you know, conservative Republican, almost in a lot of ways, in certain issues, you know, libertarian. I don't care what anybody does as long as they're not hurting anybody else. And if you're complying with the law, then you can do whatever you want. At the same time, that doesn't mean that I think that you have good judgment. That doesn't mean I'm going to agree with what you did or do. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, Mark Sanchez and the advisors that he probably has around him or should have around him, even his friends, have to tell him, this is a train wreck. It is an immense train wreck if this is true. So I want to know what you guys think about this, and I want to hear some advice that you would give Mark Sanchez. So I definitely would give him, I know I would give him the right advice, okay? There's a smart way to do things, and there's a not smart way to do things. But again, I have to say this, you know, check the disclaimers. We're not alleging any facts, casting aspersions, all for entertainment purposes only. We don't know that this story is true. I read a story. This is what I believe that I read. I may have gotten all of this wrong. The story may have gotten all of it wrong, and I don't know if this is true. I'm just saying, if this is true, we've linked to a number of stories down there. If this is true, what do you think about it? It's explosive, and I want to talk about it because, you know, I actually like the Jets. The Jets are cool. They got personality. They got the whole thing going on. Now I was rooting for them, and I think this is a larger issue. This is because I mean, we got NFL, we got sports. We have, you know, the whole social networking thing, and we have, you know, this whole relationship type issue stuff and all that. I think it speaks to a larger issue, and I want you to talk about it. Comments below, subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal. You're watching Conservative New Media.